Hello, I'm Dori Nando. You can catch up with all the fun on the Cosmopolitan Mix and on all our shows via podcast. Just go to My Joy Online podcast and search for your favorite show and relive those moments all over again. Only on Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Glad you could join us. Now, the driver of the Yutong bus that was involved in the accident that claimed 10 lives at Gomwa has reported himself to the police. That crash was one out of the 3 separate incidents which killed at least 20 people in just 2 days. At Gomwa on Sunday dawn, 2 buses collided, killing 10 instantly and leaving 26 injured. The second accident in the central region, which killed 2, involved a Hyundai Sonata vehicle veering off its lane and running into a palm tree. Both accidents, according to the police, were a result of unsuccessful overtaking. Richard Kojnyako was there and filed this report.
The first accident happened at 3 a.m. Sunday dawn at Gomwa. The night had already witnessed some showers of rain. 2 buses, one from Accra to Cape Coast and the other from the opposite direction. The 2 buses, it is reported, were overtaking vehicles ahead of them and collided after they were not successful in overtaking the vehicles ahead of them. 10 died on the spot, and it had to take the fire service team a huge task to retrieve bodies that were trapped in the remnants of the 2 vehicles and also undertake a rescue mission on survivors that got equally trapped too. Emmanuel Kwaku is a survivor of the accident and was on board the bus. He narrates what happened.
It all started when our driver had an overtaking first. When he was about to, after finishing his overtaking, he wanted to land or to be into his lane. So unfortunately, we saw that the other car has made another overtaking. So our driver wanted to save the other driver so that they did not collide or they did not crash. So unfortunately, we saw that the other bus, which has already done overtaking, has crashed our car at the back of our car. Then this is what happened. So the truth of the matter is both cars made an overtaking. Ours was very fast to finish his lane or whatever that he wanted to do. Then unfortunately the other one was not able to move into his lane because the other car was, it seems it was also having a top speed that caused the accident.
Winneba Municipal Fire Officer Henry Esiedu confirmed the incident and how they conducted the operations.
Later we have to extricate, we have to remove those who were trapped in the incident. And my men were able to bring out about 5 people who were trapped. 2 of them died. But in all, we have about 10 casualties now. We have 9 currently deposited at the Winneba Trauma Mortuary and 1 also at the Municipal Mortuary now. But currently about 26 are on treatment at the Winneba Trauma Hospital. That spot that the accident happened is a hotspot. Accidents have been happening there. We attend accidents almost every week at that particular junction. That is that stretch between Winneba roundabout and Gomwa. Yes, going to Ochekun. Accidents, we attend accidents very frequently there.
He is calling for extra exits to be made on passenger buses, so in case of emergencies, passengers may use the extra exit available on the buses to reduce the casualties.
So I don't know if the place could be lighted. We need street lights and maybe some fuel ramps at that particular point. Me as a safety way, safety oriented, we feel say on us to be on the safe part, and we feel say buses here running at least 2 doors. In case of an emergency, there should be an emergency exit.
Back here at the Trauma and Specialist Hospital, medical officials are working on the injured. Yamagi, a survivor, was traveling with her father and her son on the same bus. She seems to be in pain, but deeply concerned for her father and son too. I didn't see anything. I was not sleeping too. What I saw was that a very long vehicle had rammed into ours. My child was calling me, Ma, Ma. I quickly held my child. My bag is still in the car. And I saw my father hanging on the car. I'm yet to see my brother we were traveling with. He was the one who was directing us to where we were attending the wedding. And yet there was another accident that claimed 2 lives almost at the same spot on the same stretch. 2 people have been confirmed dead, while the other person is said to be in critical condition in an accident that occurred at Dominancy Junction on the same Kaswa-Winneba highway. 3 persons were in an unregistered Hyundai Sonata saloon car from Dominancy Junction towards Kaswa, and upon reaching a section of the road, the driver made a wrongful overtaking and veered off his lane and subsequently crashed into a palm tree. 2 of them died. Residents are calling for the dualization of the Cape Coast Accra Highway. Not only that, they want street lights on the road that have malfunctioned to be fixed to improve visibility at night. The driver who was in charge of the Yutong bus, Isaac Kwabena, aged 34, reported himself to the police and is currently assisting police with investigations. The suspect was earlier sent to the hospital, treated and discharged. According to the Central Regional Police Command, 13 females and 11 male passengers sustained varying degrees of injuries and are currently receiving treatment at the Winneba Trauma Hospital. The other driver, who is now deceased, has been identified as Samuel Ba, aged 45. Meanwhile, the 12 bodies have been deposited at the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Mortuary. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejonya-Akon, Winneba.
Richard joins us live with more. Richard, tell us more about these 2 accidents.
So, Daniel, there was a Yutong bus, a 33-seater bus with registration number JN 474110, and that was driving from Takoradi to Accra. And then another one, a Kia Grand Bed 48-seater bus with registration number GS 626219, and that was also traveling from Accra to Elubo. Both were trying to, or were undertaking some overtaking. And so in the unsuccessful attempts, they collided. And so it resulted in 10 people dying and then several casualties. And so the police and the fire service men that came there could count up to about 26 of them. They were rushed to the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Hospital, and some were also sent to the Winneba Municipal Hospital for treatment. And we understand that they are all doing very well.
Great, because that's what I wanted to find out, how the injured are really faring. Are we saying that none of them are in critical condition, for instance?
Yeah, so some are in critical condition. The medical officials tell me. This morning I've been to the Trauma and Specialist Hospital. I stayed back at Winneba and then have been monitoring the situation on the ground. And they tell me that even though they are in critical condition, they are hopeful that they will pull through. You saw that we engaged a woman who was cared for the father and her son because they were traveling with them, and then the brother as well. As of now, we are unable to confirm whether the brother has been seen, because it was the brother that was leading them to a wedding they were attending. But all of them are being treated, with the exception of the brother that we are yet to know his whereabouts.
Now, Richard, tell us about this road. We understand a lot of accidents occur on that stretch, and I heard the policeman in your interview say that junction in particular had seen a lot of accidents.
Yes, Daniel, that is true. Whenever you hear of any accident on the Accra, Winneba, Cape Coast stretch of the highway, then definitely the accident might have occurred from Mankasim up to Kaswa Budumburam. This is, that particular stretch of that road is accountable for a number of deaths we have witnessed on that stretch. But in the evening, it is instructive to note that the streets are not well lit. There are street lights that are there, but a lot of them have malfunctioned. And in most parts of the highway, you would never see street light there. When you are traveling from Accra to Cape Coast, in the night, you will meet as many as 15 police checkpoints. All of these measures were put in place because of the numerous accidents that were recorded on the road, apart from the criminal activities sometimes or occasionally that also occur on the road that they are expected to check. It is to check over speeding and then some carelessness on the part of drivers that use that particular road. But it seems not to solve the situation, because if you travel on that stretch, immediately after the checkpoint, then they start speeding again with each of the vehicles attempting to overtake. So wrongful overtaking is accountable. If you speak with the police, they will tell you that it's accountable for a lot of the deaths that we have witnessed on that particular stretch.
Richard, thank you so much for joining us with those updates. In the Upper West region, a pregnant woman is suffering a fracture in both legs, with 6 other passengers sustaining various degrees of injuries. Now, we know that this happened in an accident at Zebila in the Boko West district of the Upper East region, and the accident is said to have occurred in the late afternoon on Sunday as well. JoyNews understands the injured have been transferred to various hospitals for treatment. Albert Sori joins us with some more details. Albert, what do we know about these accidents?
Yes, Daniel. So there were 2 vehicles involved in this accident. From what we have gathered, there was a head-on collision, and according to eyewitnesses, an Opel Zafira, which was registered UE 34321, was traveling from Boko towards Bolgatanga when it collided with a Hyundai truck with registration number GX612220, which was also traveling in the opposite direction. Now, the injured persons we are reporting about this morning were in the Opel car. And so all the 7 sustained various degrees of injury. There was a pregnant woman amongst them who, we are told, suffered multiple fractures in both legs. Our understanding is that she has been moved to another hospital after she was initially taken to the Zebila District Hospital because of the fractures she sustained. Most likely, she has been transferred to the Bok Hospital, where she's expected to get treatment for the fractures. The police are telling us that they are doing more investigations on this accident because the other people in the Hyundai truck were the driver and his mate, who we are told also bolted from the scene of the accident. They survived, but they bolted from the scene for fear that the residents could lynch them because of what happened. So the police are still conducting more investigations to find them and to unravel more of what happened as far as this accident is concerned.
Now, Albert, I'm so curious about these injured people and how they're doing, especially this pregnant woman. Have the doctors said anything about her condition? Do we know, for instance, if she'll be able to, bring forth, deliver her baby naturally?
Yes, so this is information we are still trying to get, because our understanding is that she was immediately transferred to another hospital. So we are yet to get to the details of the exact hospital she is, so that we can get more details on how she's faring. So police are going to give us that information. What we know is that it was the fire service who first arrived at the scene, together with the district commander of the Ghana Fire Service in Zebila, and they were the people who rescued the victims. And so we are following up on these leads to get more details, especially on this woman and the rest of the victims and where they are, to see how their situation is at the moment. Is
it an accident-prone area?
Yeah, so this road is the Bolgatanga-Boku road, which, for many years, people in the Upper East region have been complaining about. That road has now been worked on, and it is very smooth to travel on it now. It is about 90% complete. So the complaint we are getting is that they have not yet constructed any speed ramps on this section of the road where this accident occurred. So the residents in the area believe that, because there are no speed ramps, it encourages drivers to overspeed.
Right.
And this is what sometimes causes the accidents.
Albert, sorry, thank you very much for joining us with those details. Away from road accidents, the Ghana Police Service has announced the arrest of a second suspect in the murder of the 3 people at Abesim near Sunyai in the Bono region. The unnamed suspect joins the first, 28-year-old Richard Appiah, in police custody. It was the IGP Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, who has been in Sunyani to ascertain the situation, has directed the homicide investigation team from CID HQ to take over the case, with the remains also moved to Accra. Alexander Kweku Obeng, Director of Public Affairs, Ghana Police Service, spoke on behalf of the IGP.
The Inspector General of Police paid a visit to the traumatized community of Abesim, and then the family members affected, and conferred with the Regional Police Command and the Incident Scene Management Team. He has directed accordingly that, 1, the 2 suspects are in our custody. The suspect Appiah, the second one name would help to help us with our ongoing investigation to unravel what, how, where that were involved in this heinous incident. Again, he directed that a homicide investigation team from CID headquarters takes over the case to Accra. Again, the remains, if further directs, is being moved to Police Service, Ghana Police Service Hospital morgue in Accra for forensic pathology analysis and examination to support this investigation.
Let's speak with our man on the ground, Precious Semevo, who joins us via Zoom. Precious, for those viewers who may not have followed this story, take us back to Saturday morning and Friday evening, really. What happened?
Yeah, so suspect Richard Appiah, 28, lives in a community within Abesim, an area known as Alaska. Now, his mother, that is stepmother, where they operate a shop, and where he lives, a self-contained apartment that he lives alone in the apartment. The distance between where they sell and then where he lives is just about some 300 meters apart. Now, he was Friday seen with his stepbrother, Louis Ajiman Jr., apparently with some food for him to eat. So he took him away. But later in the day, when they were looking for Junior or Louis Ajiman, the younger of the twin, he was nowhere to be found. So they mounted a search, and whilst looking for him, they asked his brother, the suspect now, and he said he escorted him to go back to store, so he does not know where he is. The police were involved. The family, as well as people in the area, insisted that Richard was the last person seen with the young man, 12-year-old Louis Ajiman. So they went to his house. The back and forth continued, and then they peeped through the window and then saw some activities in the room. They went into the room and then saw the lifeless body of Louis Ajiman there, and another person yet to be identified. And then during the search, the fridge was open out of curiosity, and some stench coming from the place, and then body parts of another person who has been identified as Stephen Sapon, a 15-year-old GHS2 student who lives in the same neighborhood with his parent. And actually, his parent and the suspect are business partners. And even Friday, they were in business. where he sent money to him.
Right.
And the suspect asked the father if you still have not seen your son. So that is what happened until later he heard it, went to the house and found out, oh, the body part is that of his son. So as we speak, he's in the custody of the police. And as the police announced yesterday, upon the arrival of the Inspector General of Police, that they have another suspect in their custody to assist them in investigations.
Precious Semebo, thank you so much for bringing us those updates from the Bono region. We move back to Accra, and about 90% of the three-story building razed down by the recent Makola fire has been pulled down. Personnel of the Ghana Armed Forces yesterday began the process of tearing down the structures following a recommendation by the committee which investigated the July 5 fire. The committee said the building had since become weak and poses a risk to people who will occupy it. My colleague, Kwesi Parker Wilson, is on that beat. He joins us live from the Makola market. Let's go there now.
Thank you very much, ma. I'm come and with you. Mommy, but you're then out.
Me pacha, me sister no, me ne ton adi, ye ton adi ye wa, ye pabua, ye ton pabua.
Okay. Now, most so how is it affecting you?
Oh, sana adi anu ye no, ye nyina ye pesa, she say slow no, week, inti ye tra, ti okra ye slow, inti debi ye bomb pa ye say, ye mba bubu maye, inti na ye hu omu sa omu mba ye, ye de won si, ye de pa sa omu abubu. Na yen so ha na ye ton niam de ye didi kakra ye ni obia wan ye ni ye ba mu cost nti ye pa cho ye omu hwe na omu mbuwe ho ma ye omu bubu yua na omu mbuwe ho ma ye yen so ye ntra se ye nya adwani kakra na ye ndi nti ya ye na ye oba na ye obemma wan nti ye pa mo cho omu ya de pa ya de omu ye na ye bo hu se ye bubu ye de yakasakata ya de too much so ma ya sama ye every say down we shepherd ya sro nti ya da ma sipa na popon shrom so ma bubu amaye.
So how soon do you expect them to finish the day?
So mo bia ene no mbe yuya ana ochina no mbe yuya week mu a ye penu sa so mo ya yuye no mo buwe maye den so embe tenase.
Call me on the team. Call me on the team.
Wilson speaking to some traders who operate in and around the area who are very grateful that this demolition is ongoing. Apparently, they were in fear for their own lives because they suspected that the building had become weakened because of that fire that struck at Makola some weeks ago. So they are very grateful. They're saying that it's their expectation that the demolition will be completed in a matter of days, in about a week. If it's completed, they will be very, very happy. And Parker was just there getting information from these women. Now, this building is in the heart of Makola. Makola is one of the busiest shopping centers in the country, if not the busiest of all the shopping centers that we have. That day, there was a lot of vehicular and human traffic that stopped as a result of the fire. It was even difficult for some of the fire tenders to access the wreckage initially. We remember speaking to some of these traders who said that some traders said they had lost merchandise to the tune of about 70,000 Ghana cedis in their shops. There was also the question of there being a lot of incendiary substances like sprays, substances like air fresheners, and all those sort of flammable substances that were within that shop. And as a result, there were fire hazards in and on themselves. So if viewers would recall, when the fire struck and the fire service trucks got there in the morning at about 7 a.m., it took them about 3 hours to douse the flames. And so it was almost a whole day affair. Parker Wilson has rejoined us. Parker, what's the situation on the ground now? Right, Parker, are you there? Right, Parker Wilson will soon join us. He is at the site of the demolition exercise, like I said earlier. The visuals you have in your screen are that of the articulated trucks and the excavators which are being used to demolish the building in its current state. Of course, it's been found to be structurally compromised. That means that it's a hazard for anyone who enters the building and anyone who indeed is around the building. And so it's very important that the building comes down immediately. The market women who sell in and around the area are worried that this building could kill any of them or their loved ones. And so they are relieved currently that this exercise is ongoing. Parker Wilson is monitoring the exercise from the ground. He's been speaking to some of the women. We'll try and reconnect with him now. Parker, can you hear me?
All right, so Daniel, if you can hear me, to my right is where the demolition exercise is ongoing, and the military is the one supervising this particular demolition exercise with the support from the AMA, officials from the AMA. Now, where I am standing is where some traders are. They came here this morning, and to some of them, it's a sad situation for them as they can see that the buildings are being demolished. However, they are active.
Sure. Thank you. So,
apologies for the poor quality of sound there. We'll try and reconnect with Parker Wilson when we're able. Meanwhile, though, the university's academic calendars are back in gear after the suspension of the strike by the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG. UTAG last week announced their industrial action over low salaries will be temporarily called off after government recalled the body to the negotiation table. The lecturers want governments to implement a 2012 single-spine salary agreement that pegged the entry-level lecturers at $2,084. UTAG has since suspended the action for a mandatory one-month period to continue negotiations with government. On their return, the University of Ghana has, for instance, scheduled its examinations for Wednesday, August 25, which is in just 2 days. Let's get on campus now, and students journalist Christian Yali who has been monitoring the situation from the beginning, joins us with more. Chris, what is the atmosphere on campus like following the announcement of the suspension of the strike?
Right, Daniel, thank you very much. And as you said earlier, campus is already bustling with a lot of activities after the suspension of strike by the University Teachers Association of Ghana. As I can report now, currently all lecture rooms or lecture halls on the University of Ghana campus are locked. But as you know, students are already preparing for their second semester end of exams. I mean, they are already grouping and meeting in groups to have revision. And as you may know, before the strike was declared, students were nearing their revision week. So as of now, you see students moving in groups and meeting at various places on campus to have studies to revise for exams which start on Wednesday. But Daniel, as you know, for the level 400s especially, this is a welcome news. This is a great news for them because they want to complete as early as possible so they can have their national service, because they can't fathom combining national service and project work together with exams should the exams be or the strike be continued. So for now, campus is very calm. The atmosphere is bustling with lots of activities, especially preparation for exams, as I can report now.
Now, Chris, you mentioned earlier that the lecture halls are locked. Is this normal for a period like this? I mean, if there had been no announcement of strike, would the lecture halls be locked 2 days to examinations?
No, Daniel, that is not the case. So usually when it is nearing exams or during revision week, most of these lecture halls are open, except a day to exams. That is when you see the caretakers and management go around to arrange the desks and then also to write names of student numbers, especially on the table, so that students who would be using those exam centers would easily or which table to use to write. It's going to take 3 modes. So you have booklet to answer, and this is the case for most of the level 100 students who have more face-to-face, or let me say sit-in exams with answer booklet, as you may call it. So yes, that's not usually the case. Because of the strike and because these lecture rooms or lecture halls were not being used, they have been locked to prevent access for students.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much for joining us with those updates from the University of Ghana campus. Let's quickly move to the Upper West region, where former president and presidential candidates for the National Democratic Congress, NDC, in the 2020 election, John Dramani Mahama, is embarking on a thank you tour for the area. The visuals you see on your screen are that of Mr. Mahama and his inner circle, interacting with residents of the region and officials. Rafiq Salam, of course, there you see Samuel Ofusampofu, who is the chairman of the NDC, John Mahama himself, getting out of the car and interacting with party executives in that area. Rafiq Salam is regional correspondent. He's been traveling with Mr. Mahama's team whilst they're in that region. He joins us via Zoom. Rafiq, what has Mr. Mahama been up to since he entered the region?
I can barely hear you.
Right, if you can hear me, give us an update on Mr. Mahama's activities since he entered the region. Rafiq, can you hear me? Right, Rafiq, are you with us? Right, Rafiq Salam, if you can hear me, what is the update? What can you report? You're live on JoyNews Desk with me, Daniel Dazi. Stay with us. On JoyNews desk with me, Daniel Daze. Let's take you now to the Bono East region capital of Techiman, where the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, is touring the area. He's meeting key opinion leaders there. Anas Sabit joins us via Zoom with more on this. Anas, give us the update.
Daniel, we know the acting IGP is expected to be in the Bono East region, Techiman to be precise, any moment from now. We are gathering that he'll be paying a courtesy call on the Nanano of the Techiman Traditional Council. He will also be meeting the Bono East Regional Minister, the Regional Coordinating Council, and then he's also set to have a meeting with the Regional Police Command before he will set off to Kintampo and then visit other areas as well. The purpose of the visit, we are told, has to do with the increase in the number of armed robbery cases in the area, or the insecurity situation of the area in general. We know an anti-robbery task force has been instituted. They were deployed to the region earlier this month, and so he will be going to the far east of the region, that is the Fu East, Fu West, Sine East, and then Sine West, and then I think will be areas check on the situation of or the security situation of the area. So basically, this is what we know for now. We're yet to start this. When he gets here, we'll get to know more about his visit to the region, which is the first time he's coming here.
Now, Anas, tell us about this recent spate of robberies, which has made it necessary for the IGP to pay the visit in the first place. Tell us how worried are the residents of the Bono East region?
They are very, very worried. Somewhere last month, there've been a couple of, armed robbery cases in the Far East. When I say Far East, I'm referring to the eastern part of the Bono East region, Full East and then Sine East areas. At a point, workers in the area, made up of assembly workers plus health workers and then teachers, all took a decision to stop going to work, to embark on a strike because of the increase in the number of cases. We know a number of teachers have been killed. Recently, a headmaster of a particular school was killed in Bantama. Another teacher was killed around the same area. So the workers in the area believe until something drastic is done to help improve the situation, they are not going back to work. We reported on that issue. And I also remember the murder of the top Muslim cleric in the Prime, in the Full West district recently. And a number of others. A military officer was also killed in the Full West as well. So when you go to the Far East or the eastern part of the region, the state of security over there is very, very terrible. And so the residents in that area, I believe, will be happy to have the IGP come in to help address this. Like I said earlier, we know an anti-robbery task force has been instituted with a number of men deployed. Hopefully, this team plus the IGP's visit will help in addressing this armed robbery issue in that area.
But apart from the IGP's visit, Anas, how effective has this anti-robbery unit been? Would you say the number of robberies has gone down from where you're standing?
Yes, from the time we are told about their deployment, we are yet to record any major armed robbery attack. That is early within this month. There's not been any attack yet. The people in the area were calling for the establishment of a military barracks within the zone, within a area to help, with military officers supporting police officers who keep patrolling the area. So as it stands, I would want to believe that the deployment of this anti-robbery task force is helping the issues on the ground as it stands. Yes, because since then we are yet to record any major armed robbery issue in the area.
Anas Sabit, thank you very much for that update for the Bono East region. He is coming to us from Techiman. The IGP is yet to arrive, but the background for this particular visit is, of course, this recent spate of robberies that we've seen and we reported from the Bono East region, which has gotten the residents of the area very worried. The IGP, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, is expected to address these issues. Of course, he is going there immediately after he visited this the family of the 15-year-old who was murdered, I should say, allegedly in Abesim in the Bono region, and also the 12-year-old who was also murdered allegedly in the Bono region at Abesim. So we are closely monitoring that situation. We'll bring that back. Also, of course, at midday, also we'll be taking you back to the Upper West region at midday to rejoin Rafiq Salam because John Mahama is touring the area. Let's take a few messages now. When we come back, we'll bring you sports.